Hey, what's up? It's Jeff Sauer here, and I'm talking to you about the periodic table of Google Analytics. Today's element that we're going to talk about is the Analytics.js, and really what we're going to talk about is the difference between universal and classic Google Analytics. So Analytics.js is a library that you might pull down from Google Analytics in order to track your site. Now this is different than the old way of doing things. When I say old way, I mean somewhere around 2013 or so, there was a version called ga.js. So there's Analytics.js, which represents universal analytics, and there's ga.js, which represents classic analytics, and we'll do another element on the ga.js as well. Now the fundamental differences between these two as an end user is really not that much. You're basically pulling down the most recent version of Google Analytics from Google servers, and really it's just the JavaScript file you pull down. That's where the Analytics.js comes from. That .js is basically saying JavaScript, and depending on which version you pull down, you can do many things within Google Analytics. You can track that a page was viewed. You can basically send data for your domain name. You can send data into Google Analytics. Now the real difference between Analytics.js and ga.js is that Analytics is a little bit more modern. It has less of a footprint on your computer. It relies less on cookies, and it relies more on sending the data to Google's servers in the cloud and letting Google do the work. So it's the most modern version of the way that you track Google Analytics, and it's going to be modern for a while now. And so it's just basically allowing you to do more, because as you can imagine, if you're in the cloud doing your tracking, then Google can match up attributes about each user. They can do a lot of things without storing a lot of data on your machine. And when they store less data on your machine, they're sending less data to their servers as well. So it makes things more efficient, it speeds up the web, and it allows you to take advantage of new functionality. Now basically any new functionality that gets put into Google Analytics will not be shared with the old version, the classic Analytics. So that's the reason why you want to jump to the Analytics.js version sooner rather than later. Now while you're at it, one thing to keep in mind, and my pro tip is that if you want to see what version of Google Analytics you're running, what you want to do is you just want to view the source code on your website and then just do a find for the word Analytics.js. And if you can find that, that means you're on the most recent version of Google Analytics. If you see ga.js, you're on the old version, and you might want to upgrade if you're doing that. Now if you're using something like Google Tag Manager, then you will not see in your source code the Analytics.js. What you'll need to do is either use Google Tag Assistant, which helps you determine what tags are on your site in your Chrome browser, or you'll just need to log into your Google Tag Manager account and see which version of Analytics you're running. Another pro tip is if you're using Tag Manager, it's as simple as pushing a button to upgrade to Universal Analytics versus putting the code on your site. Takes more effort. Now the one thing I'd be aware of if I were you in going to this is that if you do upgrade to Analytics.js, it's not as simple as changing the code. You actually, if you have custom events being tracked or e-commerce, any of those functions being tracked, you will need to upgrade those functions as well. So instead of saying GAQ, you'll have GA functions basically, and we'll put that in our notes for this video, exactly what those things look like and how to deal with them. But it's not as simple as just clicking a button to upgrade. You do need to upgrade your entire tracking code, and so that's my thing to be aware of when you do this. So that's it for this element, the Analytics.js. If you're interested in learning more about Google Analytics, I encourage you to go to Jeffalytics.com or check out our YouTube channel for more periodic table videos. Thank you.